Bandwidth for all shows on the Aussie Tech Heads network is supplied by Aussie Tech Heads Web Hosting. For a fast, affordable and reliable Australian server with fantastic support, contact Aussie Tech Heads Web Hosting at aussietechheads.com.au. Aussie Tech Heads, Australia's best hosting service.
Episode 372. Welcome everybody. Welcome all. Tonight on the show we've got great amounts of stories and it's the Christmas show. Yay, I hear you say, but we're not going to sing any carols. Oh, maybe Warlock might if we ask him nicely.
Silver bells, it's Christmas time, you guys.
So you can't stop him once he starts. All right, so we've got heaps of stories for you tonight. We've got a guest from another show on, so we'll introduce him in a second. But listen, thanks for joining us all on whether you're listening to us on Phase FM 104.5 or through the traditional podcast downloaded through iTunes or on the video on the YouTube. Thanks for joining us. You can listen to us live for the recording of the show, and that's at aussietechheads.com.au/live, which is Thursday nights at 7:30 p.m. Queensland time. So let's get on with the show. Let's talk to that Jingle Bell rock person first, because he is on the he is ready to go. Hey, Warlock / Jason, how you going?
Hey, Merry Christmas, y'all.
Yo. Now this is your final week before your little 3-week hiatus.
3-week holiday, yep. Driving all up and down the east coast of Australia.
Good work, good stuff. That sounds like a good break. So so enjoy it tonight, and we'll miss you. We'll miss you as well. We'll wish you Merry Christmas at the end. Now our other regular host is Shane. How you doing, Shane?
I'm doing well, guys. It sounds like you've been into the eggnog already, Glenn.
Oh, just the Coke Zero. That's
what
enough.
did you call me?
Yeah, that's enough for me at this early stage of the show, anyway. So how you going, Shane? You got the Merry Christmas spirit going there behind you with the green screen with the big sign up. That's good.
Yeah, trying to get into the spirit as early and as festively as I can.
Good stuff. And look, we do have another regular or semi-regular host coming on. He's going to join us in a little bit if he can get his computer working. But until then, we're going to say g'day to Jason from the Aussie Mac Zone. Hi, Jace. How you doing?
Hey, Glenn. Hey, everyone. And joining you from a very warm Adelaide today, where we hit 43. So we certainly are into summer, and guess that's to be expected for a Aussie Christmas. So.
Oh, yes. That is very hot.
It is very hot.
43. So 43. That was what, around midday or something like that. That is massively hot.
Yeah, in the early afternoon. So the warmest December day in 80 odd years.
Oh wow. That's going crazy. All right, now the show is brought to you and powered by Aussie Tech Head Web Hosting at athwebhosting.com.au. And if you want to jump in and get yourself a nice little host, why not get a hosting package for Christmas? That'd be great. You can pay by the month if you wish. You don't have to fork out for a whole year. You can do a monthly plan, all that sort of stuff. And it's from $5.95 for a nice little plan. Yeah, cool. All right, now Shane. We'll go back to Shane. He's got his tech history thing that he does. And he's going to tell you guys, what happened this week over the past years. Shane, take it away.
All right, I will. December 16, 1935. This is courtesy of Tom Merritt and his Chronology of Tech, by the way, for those who are keeping score. December 16, 1935, Time magazine article described the use of the pattern of capillaries in the retina as a means of identification called eye prints. Hello, biometrics.
Yes.
December 16. Are we going to discuss as we go, or do you want me to just keep rattling through them?
I just had nothing to talk about with that one.
Yes. December 16, 1947. Job Bardeen and Walter Brattain applied two closely spaced gold contacts held in place by a plastic wedge to the surface of a small slab of high purity germanium It was later called the transistor.
Well, there you go. Yeah, that's a good invention, wasn't it? Yes.
Was.
Yes,
And
very
that
good.
later on introduced Moore's Law and all that kind of stuff. That's a whole different topic.
Yeah.
December 16, again, another busy day. Creative Commons finally launched, unveiling machine-readable copyright licenses and a revamped website.
Right, back in 2002. So as you know, this show is under the Creative Commons, and there's a lot of other material out there, and there's a lot of other Creative Commons stuff on the net, which you can find a lot of at archive.org. So you go to there, archive.org, and there's a heap of stuff. And most of the podcasts, you might be familiar with Leo Laporte and his Twit network. That is all Creative Commons. And Creative Commons is just a form of copyright, which is not a formal copyright, if that makes any sense. So it's like it gives copyright to the people who may otherwise, I don't know, can't afford to take out a copyright. Is that how you would explain it? Warlock, would that be
copyright is free, but as soon as you put copyright on something, then it's copyright written. But Creative Commons gives you the copyright, but it allows people to make derivative works of it. So they could do a mix or a mashup, or put it in a video, whatever they want to do, so long as they preferably give you credit for the original one. But
Right.
That's not always the case. But it's recommended that you do. But yeah,
and usually not to profit from doing that, of course, as well.
Yeah, so that's
There's different levels of Creative Commons. There's ones where you've got to contribute, or you've got to attribute the work to the originator. Then there's the one where you're allowed to actually make changes. There's different sort of Creative Commons common rights you can
That's
put on.
right.
And that's why, obviously, I make a point of mentioning that this segment's courtesy of Tom Merritt.
Yes, yeah, and a lot of, like, as I mentioned before, the Leo and his Twit network, like, you are actually able to, because he is under the Creative Commons, you are able to actually rebroadcast his show. However, he does, because of the Creative Commons section that he's under, he just wants he wants you to do the whole show, make no alterations to the show, and probably if you're putting his work into a show, then you've got to acknowledge that he's the creator and all that sort of stuff. But look,
That's the word I was looking for.
yeah. So where's that Creative Commons? Is it creativecommons.org? Is that the address? It's
Yeah.
something like that. If you want to Google that, you can have a go. All right, keep going, Shane. Please.
Yes. Orville Wright successfully made a flight in a heavier-than-air machine that took off from level ground under its own power and was controlled during flight. It's generally considered as the first aeroplane flight, which happened on December 17, 1903.
That's a while ago too, isn't it?
Yeah.
110 years. ago.
December 17, 1997, John Barker coined the term weblog to describe the list of links on a site on his site Robot Wisdom. Peter Merholz later shortened it to just blog.
Oh, thanks, Pete. You've done us all a favour. So, next one, Shane.
December 18, 1997, HTML 4.0 was recommended and published by the World Wide Web Consortium, or the W3C. It offered the strict transitional and frame set variations and deprecated many of the Netscape's visual tags in favor of CSS.
Nice work. So HTML4, you might hear the terms HTML5 and all that sort of stuff bandied around. That's just natural progression of, where am I? It is the natural progression of the HTML standards that are set for internet browsers and how they interpret the code that they're asked to interpret.
How they're supposed to interpret it. Thank you, Microsoft.
Yeah. They've been a bit better over the years, though, haven't they? Really, they've got a little bit better.
Nine is making a comeback, but they still have to have a compatibility, which means we'll screw it up like we used to and display it how we made you write it instead of how it should have been.
Yes, thank you. And Shane, how many more you got? Well, better do two more.
I've only got two.
Oh, good, two more.
December 1974, the Altair 8800 microcomputer from Micro Instrumentation Telemetry Systems in Albuquerque, New Mexico, went on sale. For $439, you got everything you needed to build a computer in one kit, boasting 256 bytes of memory, and they're the PCs or the computers that are usually behind. What's his name? Steve Gibson in Security Now.
Now, just a quick shout out there to Sepp. Hi, Sepp. And everyone who listens to the show since episode 1 would know who Sepp was. Thank you. Next one, Shane.
December 20, 1996, Apple announced it would acquire Next Computer and bring co-founder Steve Jobs back to the company he left in 1985.
Oh, there you go, eh? Yeah, good stuff. That's what's happened this week in tech history. So I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks, Shane. So yeah, you're going to continue these over the Christmas break. Are you? Or are you on holiday?
Yeah.
So what are you doing?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess we'll have a chat unless you've already made the decision about what we're doing next week.
No. Oh, yeah, not that. Yes. We'll talk about that later then. But what will happen? I'll do that at the end of the show. What's going on next week? That'll wrap it up nicely. But for now, we're going to after the break, we're going to talk about Microsoft. We're going to talk about Apple and heaps of other stuff. So we'll be back in a sec. All right, welcome back. Now, just before the break, you said we're going to talk about Microsoft. I've got a few stories. Now, look, I don't know where are my stories. There they are. Yeah, well, let me get the first story out. Well, actually, what we might do, well, let's start from the top, and we'll talk to Jace, because he's from the Mac Zone, and he knows a bit about Apple. So we'll talk to him about the Mac Pro, because I know he's just hanging to get one. Aren't you, Jace? So the Apple Mac Pro.
Oh, sorry, Glenn. I just was on the Apple Store ordering my Mac Pro. You were saying something?
Yeah, I'm just saying that you were the guru, the Mac Pro guru. You were going to go out and buy 5 of them. What's the go with the Mac Pro? Are they for sale yet, or what are they doing? They're taking their time?
Well, yes, they were due to be released in December, and given we're rolling on now to the 19th, they have in fact gone on sale today. And there was much excitement not more than a few hours ago when the Apple Store
opened up.
Famously, well, it went down. Everyone gets excited there's something new coming, and it opened up, and sure enough, there is now Mac Pros available for order. Having a play around before, there's they're not going to be for the, I guess, day-to-day user. The fully maxed out Mac Pro comes in at a cool $12,000.
Oh, that's completely maxed. That's the one you're getting.
I wish. Yes, that's got 12 cores, 64 gig of memory, and the terabyte. So they got the PCIe flash strorage on there. So I guess as you expect for a Pro model, it's all the top stuff.
Yeah, so I think the starting price is $3,999, and you're available for order from today. So it's jump in there right now. You'll be able to order one. Now, its unique design limits the amount of internal storage, so dropping it from its predecessor from 12 terabytes down to a 1 terabyte. So that's a big drop. But however, compensating for that is the Thunderbolt 2 high-speed 10 gigabit bandwidth peripheral interface. Whew. Now, for the creative professionals that need more than the terabyte of SSD. So look, I've just flashed up for those of you guys on the video, there's the Mac Pro there. That's a cylindrical looking device, which looks pretty cool. If you haven't seen one, why don't you jump on Google and Google Mac Pro, because you would just be there going, wowzers, looks pretty good. Now,
it's certainly going to have the horsepower there to render your videos very fast and do all those kind of pro type things. But I guess the interesting thing is, and there's still a lot of debate and discussion around the fact that where you want all the storage, it is going to have to be delivered via Thunderbolt rather than with the old cheese grater style Mac Pros where you could open them up and they had the drive bays in, and you could go and buy a off-the-shelf drive, slot in there, and boost up your storage to a reasonable level. So it's a bit of a change, and I guess there's people in the pro and con camp around this way that Apple's decided to go, but in typical Apple fashion, it's like, well, we've decided this is the way that's best, and this is,
screw you.
I guess, it'd be interesting to see, what people do with the adoption of this.
And one of the things that's they've got a lot of debate about at the moment is this one, the Thunderbolt, and also the Mac Pro supports 4K video, but Apple's not selling any 4K monitors yet. So everyone's
No.
decided
And
what they're gonna
infamously,
do.
I think
Dell does.
last week, well, like the UK Apple Store had up for one day a sharp 4K monitor, and then it came down. So, not sure what that was all about. But yeah, there was much discussion around potentially a new, maybe 30-inch Apple monitor, and it being 4K, but that's still yet to be seen.
Yeah, because there's going to be doing a lot of video editing on this, because that's who it's marketed mainly towards. And a lot of the video they're going to be recording now is going to be in 4K. They really need the screens for their editing.
So I suppose that they'll come fairly soon. They'll probably the Apple Store will go down again, and it will come.
It won't
up
happen overnight, but it will happen.
Now, does the Apple Store ever go down and come back, and some guy just has said, "Sorry, just push the wrong button"? I wonder if that ever happens.
Well, they did that about 6 months ago. I think the Apple Store went down for nearly a week or so, didn't it?
Oh, right. Oh, naughty. Someone has pushed the wrong button. Now, look, sticking with Apple, and while you're there, Warlock, and for those of you who aren't familiar with the show, Warlock is Jason, because we've got two Jasons on the show tonight, on the show this week. So we've got. Well, you'll have to decide for yourself the voice differentiation. But Warlock,
we don't want to confuse you.
That one's Warlock, and the other one.
Well, actually, at great
Jace.
expense, Glenn, we've brought in a interpreter from South Africa to help us.
Good. I hear they're in great supply over there.
Absolutely.
All right. Now, while you're there, Warlock, you also pulled this story out through the week. Apple agrees to 2-year warranties. Was that the one you had? Or you had an Apple story, didn't you?
I've replaced that one now because you said you had that one.
Okay.
I got another Apple story.
Well, you do your Apple story.
Alrighty. A woman was shocked when she received 2 nude photos of herself by email.
Ooh.
The photos had been taken over a period of several months without her knowledge by the built-in camera on her laptop. Fortunately, the FBI was able to identify a suspect, her high school classmate, a man named Jared Abrahams. The FBI said it found software on Abraham's computer that allowed him to spy remotely on her and numerous other women. The iSight camera was designed to prevent this, said Stephen Checkaway, a computer science professor at Johns Hopkins and a co-author of the study. Apple went to some amount of effort to make sure the LED would turn on whenever the camera was taking images. The 2008 era Apple products they studied had a hardware interlock between the camera and the light to ensure the camera couldn't turn on without alerting its owner. But Checkaway and his co-author, Johns Hopkins University graduate student Matthew Brocker, were able to get around this security feature. That's because a modern laptop is actually several different computers in one package. There's more than one chip on your computer. There's a chip on the battery, a chip on the keyboard, a chip on the camera. MacBooks are designed to prevent software running on MacBook's central processing unit from activating the iSight camera without turning on the light. But researchers figured out how to reprogram the chip inside the camera, known as the microcontroller, to defeat this feature.
Oh, nasty work.
People like John C. Dvorak have been putting the bit of tape over their camera every time they use the laptop. Now, you know, he was right to do it.
He
the
was
NSA's
right.
been watching you change your clothes.
Well, it does make you wonder, doesn't it? I've often sat around just thinking, I wonder if, like, I'm looking at I don't know.
I thought you were going to say you sat around nude in front of your laptop. That's the other thing to question. What's she doing, like dancing around naked in front of her laptop?
Who is watching you? Like maybe even the light. The light's not on, but does that mean that people aren't watching? You never
There was
know.
a story earlier in the year where a university or college had installed software to watch what the students were doing once they took their school laptops home. So they were recording students sleeping in their bed, getting changed, and they said, "Oh, this is security to make sure that the kids weren't, doing drugs or anything
creepy.
like that."
Yeah.
But they're actually taking photos of them with the built-in camera, and it didn't light up on the camera that they were doing the photos. So people just have a laptop in their room. They're like, "Oh, okay, we'll just I don't have any programs running. It's just got Windows running, so I won't worry about it." And then meanwhile, the camera's taking photos and sending it back.
Yeah.
I heard a story last week where the FBI was doing the same thing. It was one of my stories, and they had a paper that basically said why they did it, how they did it, and there was an example of who they were doing it for because of this guy that was obviously doing the wrong thing.
There's many examples you see on the internet of where people have installed security software in their phones and also laptops, MacBook Pros and what have you, so that when it gets stolen, it automatically takes photos and uploads it to a site where you can see photos of the person who's stolen your device, and then you can contact the police and say, this is what the guy looks like. Here's the IP address of the computer. They can trace it back to the ISP where it is. The ISP can find out who's logged into that IP address at the time the photo was taken, and they can track them down that way. So it's very, very, very certain that your camera can be taking photos of you. So spin it around, face it to the wall, or stick a bit of tape over it, whatever you like. Switch the computer off.
Well, I've actually, after hearing that story, I did actually get a little, I got a little envelope. And I just bent it in half like that. And there you see.
Stick it
I can
over.
stick it over. And you don't know what's
Where's
going on.
Clayton gone?
Hello, chat roulette. Oh, there I am.
He's on his wrecking ball.
Yeah, did you see the chat roulette wrecking ball? It was the #1 watch video on YouTube.
Fantastic.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
Hilarious.
That's absolutely hilarious. That guy's done a few other things. But nothing as funny as that thing. That was the funniest thing for me.
Just to see everyone's reactions.
Yeah.
That was just great.
The reactions on people's faces, and there was one guy that just looked absolutely horrified, didn't he? He just goes, oh, he was mortified.
And all the others are singing along. I came in like a wrecking ball.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right. It's great. It's great. All right. Well, enough of those Apple stories for now. There are more Apple stories, but look, we're going to take a break and we're going to come back and we're going to. Oh, what else can we talk about? Microsoft. See you in a sec. Yes, as promised. Now we are going to talk about Microsoft. We're having that little break there from Apple, but Microsoft plans CEO appointment for early 2014. Now, this has been going on for a little while now, and I suppose, I'm not sure why it's been going on for so long. But anyway, a board member leading Microsoft's search for a new chief executive said on Tuesday he expects an appointment to be made early next year, the first time the board has been so specific on timing. Now, there's a few names that have been thrown around in the mix. One of them is the leader of Ford, the CEO of Ford at the moment, but he's saying he's happy there and his contract doesn't run out till 2015. There's other people around. And why is all this happening? Well, Steve Ballmer, who is the present CEO, announced his retirement last August, and he gave the company 12 months to find a successor. That's how important this guy is. They had to give 12 months.
Or really, they gave him 12 months to
get out. Yeah, probably. Now, I think, look, I can go on. That was only a short one, so let me go on to this one before we give someone else a go. But Windows...
Just on that one, Glenn, there's actually a website called nextmicrosoftceo.com, and you can jump on there and you can vote for your candidate of who will be the next Microsoft CEO, and it's got all little pictures and bios up there.
Oh, nice. Is Bill one of them? He's not in the...
Not sure. There's a lot of people.
There were rumours he might have been coming back.
There will be.
But
I'll put $5.
Can you nominate your own person? Like, I don't know, Montgomery Burns, for example?
Or you can missing candidate. You can suggest a CEO candidate by clicking here. Your request will be added as soon as possible if it is relevant.
There you go.
If it's relevant, they had to put in that caveat, didn't they?
Now, what else is relevant is Windows RT. We all know and love Windows RT. May go free as Microsoft targets Android. I think this is the best solution for this Windows RT. I think this could work. I've been critical of RT because it's not compatible with nothing else. And I think this may work. People might find that if it's free, that means that the tablets will be cheaper. Other makers will, probably get on board, and developers will probably get on board as well. This could be the answer to the failing RT. Microsoft is also considering making the Windows Phone free as well. So yeah, that's a report that came from The Verge. Now I think that's a good idea, as I said. So Jace, you're a little bit of a Warlock. Yeah, I'm getting confused.
There's also a bit of a rumor that Nokia is going to be looking into using Android on their low-end phones. So that would be very interesting considering where Microsoft is. But Microsoft makes money off patents whenever somebody makes an Android phone anyway. So
yeah. Yeah, so look, that'd be interesting. I think that could be a good move. But I'm not the boss. I'm not the bean counter. So we'll see what happens. Shane, what stories have you got for us this week?
I'm going to start with a Twitter story. Twitter emergency alerts land in Australia. As of today, which might have been a couple of days ago now, the social network will have its Twitter emergency alert system in place for Australia, with around a dozen agencies already signed up. A government agency or emergency services body will send an alert tweet. The tweet is marked with an orange siren to indicate its importance, and those who are subscribed will either get an SMS alert sent straight to their phone or a push notification for Android and iOS users. Right now, there's 13 agencies that have already signed up. They include the New South Wales Rural Fire Service, New South Wales Police, Victoria Police, Queensland Police, West Australian Police, South Australian Police, Australian Government, Travel Advisory, the Department of Health, Fire and Rescue New South Wales, Country Fire Service South Australia, the City of Brisbane, the City of Sydney, the Australian Red Cross. To sign up to their alerts, all you have to do is visit the agency's Twitter alerts page.
Well, that's a good idea. And I think they've got blanket SMS, don't they? They've got the power to just hit your phone with an SMS if you're, say, within a fire area or something. Yeah, so I think they can already do that. But, you know, some people, I don't know, you need as many avenues as possible. Like, it doesn't cost anything. So, yeah, why not? Why not?
And Twitter had a bit of a problem during the week. They decided to change one of their features for blocking people, in that previously, if you blocked somebody else on Twitter, they couldn't see anything that you did. They couldn't reply to it. They couldn't say anything about you. And it was completely private from then on. But they decided to change their blocking feature so that you wouldn't see anything that they were writing, but they could still write to you. They could see everything you're doing. They could reply to it and comment on it. And there was a huge backlash on Twitter. So within a very short time, they switched it back to the old system again.
Right. Well, that was a good waste of energy and resources.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We didn't ask you what you want. We just roll it out. We're Facebook. We'll roll it out. Oh, okay. No, we'll go back again. Sorry.
Have they got ex-politicians in charge over there or something? What's going on?
Flip flop, right?
Yeah, that's right. Okay, cool. Now, Jace, Warlock, while you're there, just keep going with another one of yours, and then Jason will get you to, I don't know, pick one out if you like. That Apple one up the top might be a good one for you.
Yeah, do you value your privacy? Well, few Australian websites do. On March 12, 2014, the way Australian organisations will have to handle online privacy is going to change significantly. Investigated whether their organisations are ready and found in most cases they're nowhere near. The new Australian privacy principles replace the current national privacy principles and the information privacy principles. They cover organisations with more than $3 million turnover and some others such as healthcare providers, including government, Commonwealth and ACT. They'll mandate how these organisations have to deal with sensitive private information collected in the course of their activities. The introduction of privacy principles mean organisations will have to update their privacy policies and risk management protocols. If they combine the principles with the best practices for responding to a data breach, they'll need to have a cultural rethink in the collection, storage, use and dissemination of information which personally identifies customers. Privacy policies need to clearly state how an organisation collects, uses, discloses, transfers and stores such customer information. So hopefully our privacy is going to be a lot better next March.
Oh, yeah, well, let's hope so. But look, at privacy, although it is legislation, they've got the Privacy Act. So is it legislated that everyone who handles customer data has to have a privacy policy? And if so, who says if that policy adheres correctly to the legislation? It all gets too confusing.
You'd have to follow the guidelines, and it did say for companies with over $3 million turnover.
Okay, so just a little Joe Blow who runs his lemonade stand and collects the...
Should be all right.
Yeah, should be cool. All right, good stuff.
Well, I guess on that one, Glenn, I mean, fundamentally, you do need to adhere to the law. So I guess if your policy isn't adequate, you're going to have a gaps there in your compliance. The other thing that was covered as part of this and was planned in the updates but still hasn't been ratified through Parliament is around mandatory disclosure laws. So that's something that occurs in the US, and that's where we see a lot of these stories come from, where there is mandatory disclosure around privacy breaches. So that still hasn't been mandated for Australia, and I guess that would be certainly very interesting if that does get ratified and passed in Parliament. It's proposed, but I think with the change in government, that piece hasn't gone through the Parliament
Now
yet.
we'll find out when Steve leaves his USB key with all the customer details. It's unencrypted on the train.
Yes. Wasn't there
It's
something?
happened lots of
Yeah, wasn't there something earlier this year where Telstra was going to host their email server over in Singapore, and then there was concerns, and even I think they might have had to have even changed what they were doing, because a lot of companies, Telstra's got their cloud services, like as everyone has, but Australian companies couldn't continue their relationship with Telstra because they were hosting their cloud services in Singapore, which became a breach of the Australian privacy law because the data was...
There's data sovereignty issues you have, and certainly for medical records, they can't be stored overseas, and the government is quite is quite concerned around that and takes quite a lot of interest in that, as do a lot of the regulators like APRA and people like that, as to around where customer information stored, where people's information stored, and overseas at the moment has quite a lot of focus, I guess, with generally a lot of people looking to adopt cloud.
Yeah, well, so it should. And I think Microsoft, they're looking at opening their cloud services over here in Australia, but they've got to open up Melbourne and Sydney, I think they're opening, because they need to have the redundancy, and they can't just have one in Melbourne, because then the redundancy can't be overseas. So
no, because at the moment, if you went and used the Microsoft 365 service, which is their online hosted exchange, that actually is out of Singapore and back up, I think, to the US or somewhere else. So to your point, Glenn, if you want to have it within Australia, you're going to need at least 2 data centers, which isn't a trivial thing to set up.
Yeah, now Amazon have opened their own data centers in Australia as well, which Microsoft and Apple would be leveraging.
Yeah. So that's well, once the data leaves Australia, who knows what's going to happen to it? Another government could snoop. They might have different
We've
laws.
already seen what happens with NASA once they stick one of their interception servers inside Google's own network, and then they go, "What the hell? Let's encrypt everything now. That'll screw them." Yeah, so they did.
But for those concerned, Glenn, where are Aussie Tech Heads hosting servers located?
Well, the
Sydney.
The customer data, yes, it's in Sydney, and it's all ridgy-dig, true blue, Aussie. Good stuff.
Oh, where's that soundboard? What a segue there.
Look, when we come back, we're going to have a lot more stories for you, so stay with us. All right, Jace, welcome back. What Apple story? We know you got an Apple story up your sleeve, because I put it there. What is it? The 2-year warranty.
We can come back around the 2-year warranty. So there's been a lot of discussion around this, and it happened in the EU as well, where there's, I guess, regulatory, country warranties in place, and where you're trading in a country, you can't be in conflict with local law. So there's been some, I guess, discussion with Apple around what it has for its warranties, which were a 12-month manufacturer's warranty. And really their big thing is the upsell of Apple Care, which took you out to a 3-year hardware warranty. But by law in Australia, everything is meant to have a 2-year warranty. I mean, that's something that
I think what happens
people must adhere to. So
yeah, I think what happens here in Australia is that the warranty, like 12 months for a piece of hardware and good quality hardware is not enough, because you would expect that piece of hardware would last you more than 12 months. So what I think the ACCC have said is that, and they've said, okay, well, you would expect a phone to last you more than 12 months. You would expect a phone to last you probably 2 years at least. So that's where we're going to put a mandatory warranty on, and that'll be the 2-year mark. So I think Apple...
Yeah, the reason they're really concerned is because most contracts in Australia for phones are 2 years. You don't want your phone running out of warranty halfway through, and they're like, well, you got to sign up to a new contract, pay out the old one, get a new phone, or just buy the phone outright, which you're going to do.
Yeah, well, that's right. So then I think Apple were advertising and pushing that there was a 1-year warranty with their stuff, when in actual fact, there might have been an Apple 1-year warranty, but they were obliged to give you a 2-year warranty. So if you went back in 18 months, you were within your rights to have the warranty. But they didn't advertise that, and that's where things have got a bit...
What they don't know,
a
we
little
don't
bit
tell
easier.
them.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
So now
So
everyone's come clean on that, and
yeah. So
maybe after the ACCC got involved, that Apple's agreed to, I guess, communicate that more clearly and ensure that people are aware of their consumer rights.
and it's not just for the iPhones. It also relates to iPods, iMacs, peripherals, iTunes, and App Store software. Non-Apple products such as headphones and printers. Everything has got a manufacturer's warranty. Even like the hard drives you bung in your computer. Well, like say you might only get say 12 months, or well, say you got to get 2 years. So say you get your 2-year warranty, but then if your hard drive carks it, actually the manufacturer of that hard drive, say Seagate, has probably got a 3-year warranty. So if you pulled the hard drive out and sent it back to Seagate, you'd probably get it replaced. You'd lose all your data, but still. Staff at the Apple Store had also been denying customer assistance for faulty non-Apple products purchased from Apple. So even though the store that you bought something from, the store that you buy something from, still has to honour the warranty, not the 2-year thing. So if you bought something from Apple, you can't go in and they say to you, oh yeah, that's still under warranty, that's within 2 years, but just go down to Victoria and take it back down there, send it back yourself. The store has to look after that. And
Is that the same for consumables like batteries?
well, I imagine so, if it's got a warranty. Yeah, if it's under warranty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure on batteries. That comes into a funny area, and it's almost like where you have cars and things like brake pads, where things like normal wear and tear, and there's an argument around that come into play.
If it's a laptop battery or something like that, then sure, it'll have a 1-year warranty. But since none of the Apple ones are removable, it doesn't count. So
Yeah, that's a good point now, isn't it? That's where you've got the MacBook Airs, etc. That it's really part of the computer, isn't it? It's not something that is so distinguishable now.
Yeah, well, that's right, and I think it's because, like with the notebook, the batteries on other notebooks, then I think the warranty is probably less. It's probably not the 2 years, but it's only because
1 year.
Yeah, so because you would expect it to last 1 year. Like 2 years it's probably a bit of a stretch for a battery. People mistreat them; they're charging them up all the time and decharging whatever. So yeah, so the different componentry, but as a whole, you just got to make sure you know what your rights are and what you can and can't do, and she'll be apples. But also, while we're on the that sort of subject, HP and Google recall 145,000 Chromebook 11 chargers. So Google and Hewlett-Packard are recalling 145,000 power supply chargers for the HP Chromebook 11 in the wake of 9 reports of the chargers overheating and melting during use. One poor love had a pillow caught on fire. Poor dear. Consumers, I hope she wasn't sleeping on it. Consumers shouldn't immediately stop using. Consumers should immediately stop using. No, you shouldn't. Hopefully, you get electrocuted before you can take it back.
It wouldn't be so bad if it was winter, but in summer you don't want it heating up, right?
Nah, that's right. It's hot enough. So you should immediately stop using the recalled charger and contact Google for a free replacement. The charger involved, in case you want to know, in the recall has a 6-foot-long cord with a micro USB connector, model MU15-91052-AOOS, and was manufactured in good old Chinatown.
Well, that would make it easy to identify because there's not many things made in China, so that would be the standout on it, wouldn't it?
That's right. Yes, exactly. All right. Shane, where are you? You got a story?
I do. I was going to do them in order, but no, I'm going to mix them up a bit. I am going to do the Facebook story.
All right. What have they been up to?
Right. Facebook have been doing some crafty stuff. Decided against a Facebook post. Yep, they recorded that. That's the title of the story. Basically, what it is a newspaper. A new paper shows the social media king is keeping track of every time you write something and then not post it. Studying the habits of 3.9 million English-speaking Facebook users, the paper shows that 71% will leave part of their posts on the cutting room floor or just not post it at all. People with more boundaries and males are the more likely groups to have a last-minute retraction. Self-censorship is the term used in the paper, written by Facebook software engineer intern Suvik Das and Facebook data scientist Adam Kramer.
So what are you saying? That the stuff that you don't post, the stuff that you type that doesn't get posted, is still recorded?
Yeah,
Yes.
if you don't hit submit or post this, then it'll still be in. Because when you go click on another page or another link or something, it'll say, "Are you sure you want to leave this? You've got something typed there," and you go leave, then they'll store it in their server as
right.
partially. You don't get to resume it like a draft or something. They just want to keep a copy of it to see what you're up to.
The story goes on to say,
we were talking about before.
Why on
the story
earth?
does go on to say that the paper stops short of saying Facebook records what you type, but confirms that when self-censorship takes place, it is recorded into a system of metrics and metadata.
Yeah, right. And look, we've got a question here from the lounge from Milo. What happens to it when you delete it? Well, I don't think anything happens. I think Facebook still got it, because you can request the history of your conversations over your lifetime, and you'll get them on a CD or something. I'm not sure if that costs
Even
you.
the deleted stuff,
Yeah.
in inverted commas.
Yeah, I think Facebook still have it. It's just not visible on the web anymore.
But why on earth would they be wanting to record? I can understand why they want to record, but keep data that doesn't actually go anywhere. Ooh, what's that noise? Okay, but anyway, well, we won't worry about it.
Could be
I
the
think it
Lord
might be
Templar.
Eric joining us.
All right, well, it could be. Well, we're going to find out exactly what that noise was, and we're going to find out if Eric is back. I think he might be, but we'll talk to Eric after the break, so we'll be back soon. All right, now, if you want to join us more regularly, you can join us on the iTunes or download us video on the YouTube. That's youtube.com/Aussie Tech Heads. And also, look, if you're into the tech shows and you want to get more into your ears, you can go AussieTechRadio.com. There's a whole list of tech podcasts on there, and most of them from Australia and New Zealand, and they will delight you to no end. So there's instructions on the page. You can download them and listen to them through the Shoutcast app on your phone, or just listen to it off the web browser. So that's at AussieTechRadio.com. So go and check that out. Also, if you want the news every whatever in your Twitter stream, if you're a really big Twitter head, you can follow at Aussie Tech News, and that'll just dump in about 3 or 4 stories every half an hour, the breaking stories of the minute. So yeah, you'll be kept up to date. And also, if you want to sit back and read a bit of a paper on a little iPad paper, aussietechheads.com.au/paper. Go and check that one out. Renders nicely to an iPad, very nice indeed. And it's got not just tech stories, but it's got movies, whatever, science, business, politics, all that sort of stuff. But just heaps of tech stuff, obviously, as well. All right. Now, did we find Eric while we were away out there? Eric, hello.
You did indeed. Can you hear me now?
Oh, yes. Just turn down a little bit, please.
Now it's turning down a bit.
Just a tiny bit.
What? I can't hear anymore.
Can't win. All right, how's that?
Oh, beautiful, beautiful.
The dulcet tones of John Laws.
Of whoever you were. Who were you
Hello,
called?
world.
Yes. Now,
Hello,
Eric,
world.
thanks for joining us on the Christmas episode. How you been?
Yes, I had to just to butt in and just push everyone out of the way to get my seat at the table.
Oh, good. Yeah, so...
What do you think of the government's view on the new NBN?
I haven't read anything about it because I knew you'd ask me that question, so no comment.
So the NBN, as far as I know, it's still chugging along, but not very well. It's fibre to the node. It's, yeah.
No broadband network.
Fibre to the next suburb.
Yeah. But I'll tell you,
Fibre to the neighbour.
fibre to New Zealand. Now, who's got the story about the copper wiring?
I have.
Not me.
Who was that? Whoever that
Shane.
was, go and tell us about copper wiring, please. I can't wait.
In the US, next generation DSL pumps 1 gigabit through copper phone lines. DSL uses, the current generation DSL uses 25 to 1104 kilohertz, and voice uses between 30 hertz and 4 hertz. So how basically DSL works and goes over a copper phone line is that it splits the range or the frequency range that voice travels versus data, and that's how kind of it works that's how the magic works. The limits to the current standard DSL is just to 100 megabits over a bandwidth of 30 megahertz. And I was surprised actually that the current DSL can actually pump it out at 100 megabits. But it goes on to say that, you won't get an ISP that will actually give you those speeds, even though technically, apparently it is possible. Although I guess you have to be living right next door to the exchange. Although then we'll kind of prove that wasn't relevant either. The new technology, I think it goes by the marketing name of G-Fast, uses a much larger 106 megahertz section of bandwidth to deliver speeds up to 1 gigabit, the same as Google Fiber. Its upper frequency range overlaps with FM radio spectrum. So one of the problems with it is that it overlaps the FM radio spectrum, which can cause interference. Plus, its wide frequency range generates a large amount of crosstalk between the bundled wires themselves. Like DSL2 before it, so like the current technology, ISPs could potentially cut the maximum available speed of G-Fast in half to just 500 megabits, and it would still be 5 times quicker than its predecessor, or the current DSL. The G-Fast standard is expected to be finalised sometime next year and could begin rolling out in the US by the start of 2016.
Yes.
And the only major drawback to that is it can only do it over a maximum of 250 meters. So,
Right.
wow.
Well, that
I
could
never mentioned that.
Completely useless.
That could still go fiber to the node, and would that then could they then implement that? Who knows? It gets too complicated, but look,
We won't
things
go
are.
into it on this show.
That's right. We'll pass all the complicated stuff.
We're talking all night.
Look, so things are changing all the time. Remember back when you had the dial-up modems. You're going, geez, is this the fastest we can go? But then all of a sudden come DSL, you go, wow, is this the fastest we can go? Then comes ADSL2, you go, wow, is this the fastest we can go? And then more stuff comes like VDSL.
G-Fast.
Yeah, G-Fast.
VDSL G-Fast.
Yeah, and all
So,
that.
yeah, it's okay. Our copper wire doesn't cope as well, which is why he was mentioning that you would have to cut it in half at least. But with all the crosstalk and the quality of our copper, plus the very short distances, at the moment, there's a lot of people who are just not that close to any exchange or anything like that. So it would cost a lot of money to roll out the fiber to within 250 meters. If you're going that far, why not go a little bit further,
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Look, everyone's interested in saving the planet, and plans have been unveiled.
Who said that?
Except for
A lot of
Australia, we
people.
don't need that Great Barrier Reef thing.
Who's saving the planet? Who's doing that?
Oh, the Greens. They're trying to save the planet.
Love them.
Don't get him started now.
Now, the plans for the universal laptop charger have been unveiled. The International I can't even say that word. The International Electrotechnical Commission, which is the IEC, that's easier, noted that billions of external chargers are shipped globally, and they are too. I've got heaps here that I don't even know what they fit. I've got to tag them, waste of time. Anyway, and the vast majority aren't used across different laptops. So we all know the problem, and it looks like the plans have been unveiled to have a fix. So good on us. Good on those clever boffins. To which
Yes.
yeah, so apparently, there was
Kudos.
a similar thing happened with the mobile phone chargers in 2011. Most mobile phone shipped in the EU, now conform to the similar proposal. The IEC international standard for the universal charger for the mobile phone has been widely adopted by the mobile phone industry, and it's hoped that this laptop one will be as well. Now,
You know what's next, though?
what's that?
You know what's next? We're all going to have to drive the same car
Probably a
and
Toyota.
fill up at the same petrol station.
Is it an Audi or a Kia? That's all I want to know.
Audi, it's a
Won't be a
Merc.
Holden.
Yeah, it won't be a Holden.
It's not
Thank
going to hold it. Or Toyota.
I could,
Well, I thought it was a Camry
Or Ford.
I could
with
actually,
Huey Lewis from the News on the CD player.
I could see Eric in a little Datsun Sunbird. I think.
No, I had a Datsun 180B.
Yeah, nice.
When I was,
I had a
how old-
200B. I win.
You win. How old was I? I can't even remember how old I was. Was it a 180B? Could have been. I don't know.
My first was a
21 or
Mazda
something?
808.
Was that 800cc engine?
I rolled it.
Oh,
yeah.
no.
15.
When you were 15?
Rolled it when I was 17 on a dirt road.
Oh, jeez. You must have been going all right.
Must have been.
Getting
I
along
think you
all
had
right.
something.
ended up
I think
being
you
on-
probably had something between your legs of the liquid nature.
It got featured on Darren Hinch's teenage car accidents. They had all the cars there. Mum and Dad go, "Your car was on Darren Hinch. Your car was on Darren Hinch."
How did he introduce the segment? And just watch this idiot roll his car.
Shame. Yeah.
That's right. Oh, good old Hinchy. Good on him. All right. So, look, we got a few more stories to go. Not too many more, but I'm sure we'll get through them. And we're going to get through them after this. All right, as promised, we are going for more stories now. But first, before we do, let's go, Eric. Did you bring any stories tonight, or are you just happy to continue to chip in as
I'm
we
happy
go?
to listen to my learned colleagues.
All right, and there's no new. You haven't got any new tech this year. Are you buying any Christmas presents? Any iPhone 5s or anything like that?
No. Well, I think I'll surprise my middle daughter with a 5C,
Oh,
not
nice.
a 5S.
Yeah.
But because she starts high school next year, so that'll be her Christmas
They're popular.
thing. Yeah.
She obviously doesn't listen to the podcast then.
No. Oh, I hope not.
So,
Or else I'll be.
oh, yes, no good.
No, I haven't bought any tech of late. I don't really need anything. To tell you the truth.
I bought a couple of little gadgety type things lately that I'm going to hopefully try and review. Nothing
But have you
exciting.
unpacked them? Have you taken them out of the box, Glenn?
I haven't got them yet, but they'll
Oh, right, okay.
Look, I've still
So
got
no, you haven't. You haven't taken them out of the box then.
I've still got a PC in the cupboard I've had for 3 years.
I know. You got to give him a every time he orders something. He goes, "Oh, I've got to get this thing. I saw it. I think, oh, check a look at this," and then he'll get it, and he's like, "Where is it? Where is it? Bloody hell, it's taken so long." And he gets it, and it sits on the floor for 6 weeks.
Somebody get rid of his eBay account.
I bought.
He's just hanging out to get this thing, and he stresses out that it's not taken it's taken 3 weeks, and then when he gets it, he waits another 6 weeks to open it.
Well, I bought a video camera at an auction about 4 years ago, and it's still in the cupboard. I've never even seen it.
There's probably even no point opening it up now. 4 years ago,
I
what's that
know.
about? What, 500 kilobyte camera?
Oh, I think it's a tape.
Two takes.
I don't know.
How's that CD
half a
player going?
megapixel.
Yeah, I've still got that Altair I haven't unpacked. Hang on.
I was hanging out for that.
All right. Well, yeah. Okay. Cool. What else are we going to do?
Have you done the Apple Mac, the Mac Pro?
Yeah,
thingy
did the
then?
Apple, did the
Have you done
warranty.
that?
Oh, look,
Yeah.
here's something.
No, not the warranty. The Mac Pro. The Mac Pro. Have you done that one?
Yeah,
Yes.
did that. But look, we might
Okay.
go. Jason, did you have anything else you wanted to bring up this week?
I just had one small little thing which came through the Twitterverse around our friends at Google, where we had back in the early 2000s where they had "Don't be evil," and a couple of years ago, you know what, evil's really hard to define, and we moved forward to this year where we now build military robots.
Oh,
Yeah, that's right.
So-
Don't be evil.
so
Well done, Google.
they've got a secret barge off the coast of the US somewhere. No one knows.
Well, it's
what's
meant to be
in
a
that.
party barge.
Oh,
They might be getting rid of that. too,
Entertaining
because
client.
They don't have permits to have it in the water
in
there.
The water. Wouldn't you think
So, they might be having to get rid of them.
But wouldn't you think they'd be across that? Like Google.
Oh, look, Google can pretty much do what
We're
they want.
Google.
We're Google.
We do know evil.
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? We do know Google.
The barge can just be its own country.
That's right. International waters, own currency.
Yeah, the first site they host would be like Pirate Bay or something. You can't touch us, international waters. That moved.
That's right.
That moved to some strange country. It was closed down for a bit. The old Pirate Bay. Now it moved.
Oh, where's he gone now?
Oh, I can't remember. I did see the story, but I can't remember. But I think it's
One
still,
of them came to Australia.
It'll be some African nation somewhere.
that was ISO Hunt came to
Yeah.
Australia, but it wasn't actually ISO Hunt.
Ah,
it was a
yeah.
copy of
Nobody's
ISO
heard
Hunt.
anything about it since then. It was just, hey, it came to Australia. Yep.
Yeah, I think that it
That's
came
it.
as isohunt.to from memory. So I don't know.
T.O. Where's T.O.?
Oh, I don't know.
Tonga Island.
Hunger or something.
Yep, Tonga Island.
Tonga? Yeah,
Yeah,
that's probably
okay.
right.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Well, here's something that might interest you, Eric. Are you into the Beatles?
No,
Oh, they're
hate
playing-
them. Think they're overrated, but continue.
The digital compilation includes. The Beatles are releasing rarities and they're releasing backstage unseen.
Well, a good song. They're releasing a good song, are they? That's a rarity.
They're releasing these because they're afraid that some of these will fall out of copyright and thus fall into the public domain, which they don't want. Now, the digital compilation includes BBC sessions, 4 alternative takes of She Loves You, and 5 of Taste of Honey. Never heard of that song. That must have been a good one. EU law protects recordings for 70 years, but only if they get official release. Otherwise, the copyright period lasts 50 years. In the case of the Beatles, that means the master tape, the 1963 album debut, Please Please Me, is protected until 2033, but the unreleased session tapes for that album are not. There you go. If the Beatles chose not to release the recordings before the end of the year, it would mean that other record labels could theoretically put them out and profit from them. Now, the collection is expected to reach iTunes next week, just in time for Christmas. Hello. And
Can't wait.
Interestingly enough, Bob Dylan's record label rushed out 100 copies. 100, that massive amount of an album last year, containing early TV performances alongside multiple versions of Blowin' in the Wind and Bob Dylan's Dream and I Shall Be Free. Officially called the 50th Anniversary Collection, it carried a subtitle which explained its true purpose, the Copyright Extension Collection Volume 1. So that's pretty cool. Look, there's heaps more to that story. If you want to know more about that story or any of the other stories, aussietechheads.com.au/podcast and link round to the show notes. Shane, did you...
And for those interested, Glenn, Ascension Island is what you were thinking of. So the Pirate Bay in December 2013 changed its domain to .ac for Ascension Island following the seizure of the .sx domain.
Well, there you go. We're up to speed now. Thank you for that. Shane, have you got any more that you need to enlighten us with this week?
Yeah, I've got 2 more, but if we've only got time for one, I'm going to do the Google Glass story.
Oh, it's Christmas, Shane. We're doing them all.
All right, okay, cool. Anyway, Google Glass just made winking the creepiest way to Creepshot.
Oh, no.
This is a story about Google announced a bunch of Glass updates today, which could have been the other day. The most interesting of which is Wink, a setting that lets you snap a picture simply by winking. Google is also investigating the use of Wink with payments and online purchases. And along with the update, the other things that the update bunch included was the ability to lock the screen, Hangouts, uploading to YouTube, music, and an iOS app, which has like a little caveat on it that says that that's still about a week away.
Oh, well, prediction, baby boom. Let's see. All right, Shane, finish off with your next story then as well while you're there, please.
All right, no worries. The other one that I was going to do to finish up is Amazon can take away your digital books and movies whenever it wants to. I think this is does the rounds and pops up every now and again, but this refers to this story referred to a Boing Boing article in which they recount an issue that an Amazon customer had with losing content. Amazon then later advised that the incident was due to a fault with the catalog and it was subsequently fixed. But they did point out that the Amazon T's and C's state, per our conditions of use, which state in part Amazon.co.uk and its affiliates reserve the right to refuse service, terminate accounts, remove or edit content, or cancel orders at their sole discretion. In 2011, the US Supreme Court ruling that in 2011 there was a US Supreme Court ruling that determined that you can't actually own any of the software or apps you might buy online, but can't physically hold. When you buy something from Amazon or iTunes or whomever, you're not buying the content itself. You're buying a license to use it. One with terms that are strictly regulated by whichever studio or recording artist made it, and by whichever company distributed it. This is why not only can you not resell a Kindle book, you can have it legally removed from your device at any time.
Well, I think the moral of that story is that if you download something, burn it to a CD. Like, remove the DRM and put it onto a CD or something, like for future for keepsake. Does anyone here do that? Does anyone? Or I suppose,
No, I've got backups on hard drives of it though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So
on off site and on a NAS.
yeah. So
It's
you're
only
not.
the cloud and streaming stuff they can take away from you. If you've downloaded an AVI, they can't do anything about it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, because what I
But if
don't.
it's still got the DRM on it, doesn't it still have to then talk to the mothership to make sure that it's a legit copy before it plays through the player?
Not if you crack the DRM.
Yeah, remove the DRM from it if you can. But look, another thing that annoys me is that you buy some software and you get to the shopping cart, you get right at the end of the cart and it says, "Oh, do you want to buy download protection for $15?" And you go, "What's this download protection rubbish?" And it's like, so if your thing doesn't download, well then you're able to access the download link another few times for like 30 days or something. Like what a crock.
Yeah, I've seen
Like-
that. I think no.
Extended
Save it.
warranty. Buy now. Extended warranty.
Yeah, that's all it is, isn't it? That's it. That's what it is.
Yeah, but why would please? But yeah, look, I think that if you're buying content on iTunes or whatever, yeah, I think you should be able to back it, even if you do back it up with DRM. Oh, no, that's probably not going to work if they're going to cancel.
No, you can back it up with DRM on it. If your computer gets swiped or something, or they,
Yeah.
you just upload it. But you don't need to do that on iTunes anymore anyway, because it's all up in there.
Yeah, but
in
it's
the
only
cloud.
if Apple decide not to continue with that service with that particular
Yeah.
file on their servers. Well, then you're screwed, aren't you? But anyway, so
Yeah, well, that's happened before with like Microsoft DRM for their instant play stuff. Once they decided they weren't doing that anymore, you couldn't access any of your stuff anymore.
yeah, see, that's rubbish. That is rubbish. But anyway, look, I think I'm just about done everything I wanted to speak about this week. So look, we're gonna find some last little stories if we can, and we're gonna come back and wrap it up. All right, let's wrap this puppy up, eh? The Christmas episode. Has anyone got any more stories before we
Sure.
say goodbye? Oh yeah, Jace, Warlock, you've got quite a few, I think. You've got a few.
Well, I had two, but Shane had one of them, so I'll do the Australian top Google searches. 2 celebrity deaths and a royal birth dominated Australian Google searches this year. The late actor Paul Walker was the year's top trending search, the company said on Wednesday. Royal baby was the 3rd most popular Google search in Australia this year. 40-year-old star of Fast and Furious movies died in late November when the sports car he was riding in smashed into a tree. Another showbiz death, that of actor Corey Monteith, propelled the Glee star to the 2nd top trending search of the year. He died from a drug overdose on July 13, aged 31. In a welcome break from the morbid top 2, Royal Baby was the year's 3rd top trending search. Prince George, the son of the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge, arrived in July, 9 days after Monteith's death. The
Nice.
iPhone 5S, Apple's flagship smartphone, released in September, placed 4th, while North Korea was 5th. The list doesn't provide Google's most searched terms, which include Facebook and YouTube, and they change little year on year anyway. Rather, the list contains the terms that have experienced the largest increase in search volume over the year. RFS, the acronym for the Royal Fire Service, was the 6th most popular search, spurred by bushfires which ravaged parts of New South Wales in September and October. The AEC, Australian Electoral Commission, placed 7th, as Google users turned to the search engine to find out how to vote in the September election.
Yeah, right. Interesting. And I suppose as the year draws to a close, there's going to be a lot more of those lists come out. Like, just wait for the YouTube lists and whatever else. Look, I did find one last little one here. Windows Phone 8.1 is to get a Siri-clone. The next version of the Windows Phone might have its own Siri-like voice-activated personal assistant called Cortana. Oh, it's true.
I tell you what, you can always rely on.
Based
It
on
needs
a
something
character
to-
from Halo.
You can always rely on Microsoft to come up with some great naming conventions.
When you're playing Halo, there's I think it's a computer wristwatch that is a bit like Siri you can talk to in Halo, and her name is Cortana, so they're going, it's codenamed it for the Microsoft Siri-like thing, but it might not end up being called Cortana, it's just a code name at the moment.
Yeah.
It'd be called Bill.
Bob, Microsoft Bob, he's back again.
Oh,
Clippy.
no.
What are those little
Bring
characters
back
in the
Clippy.
Clippy? That's it.
The Microsoft had reportedly been working on its own voice assistant for months and will integrate the new features into the upcoming Windows Phone 8.1 update. And that's again according to The Verge. That they get dig deep, don't they? The Verge.
Yeah, and to go with that,
Oh,
more
okay.
news
What's it now?
today-
19th of December. Let's see how long it takes them to come out with it.
It's expected that Microsoft will preview Windows Phone 8.1 at its developer conference in April.
More to go with that. They've just announced news that Yahoo is working on their own Siri-like systems as well. They're not making it themselves, but they're going to license it from another company.
Yeah, from Apple.
Not that anyone cares, but did anyone hear if Yahoo email got back online?
No one. Who uses Yahoo?
I don't know. Last week there was a story that Yahoo email was offline for 3 days or something.
No one cared.
But
No one noticed.
But that's
Yeah,
insane.
business as usual.
It affected Flickr as well.
Carry on business as usual. No one was affected because no one used it.
Obviously, the Yahoo staff don't use it either.
Yes.
I bet you they don't.
Yeah, probably not. Okay. Last call for any stories. Any stories, anyone? Are we done? We good?
We
Going,
finished.
going,
That's it.
going.
Last call. Done.
All right.
Sold.
Cool. All right. So, yeah, it's another year is coming to a close. And so Santa comes in less than a week. I can't wait. I've got my big sack out ready for him to fill it up. So I can't
Beg your
wait for
pardon?
that.
And there goes that clean tag.
Well, you know, he comes and he puts lots of presents in, so I can't wait. So I hope everyone has a Merry Christmas, and hope Santa does bring you everything that you wish. And don't forget that Aussie Tech Heads will be producing a podcast, maybe not next Thursday, but there hopefully will be one each week at some stage or other. So just keep your iPod subscribed or your iTunes subscribed, and just keep listening out for that, okay? And yeah, that's about all I can say about that. So yeah, Merry Christmas, guys. Jason, Warlock, everyone.
Merry
Eric
Christmas,
and
one
Shane.
and all.
Thank you, sir. Merry Christmas to you too and everyone else.
Thank you. And I think everyone is coming back next year. Jace, Warlock's on 3 weeks leave, and I think everyone should be back. Will's babysitting tonight. For those of you who miss Will, he's I think his internet's working, but he's actually he's got some babysitting duties tonight. So hi, Will. Hope it's going well. Hope it's not tearing your hair out too much. Yeah, all right, good stuff. All right, so that's episode 372. So we'll be back at some stage, maybe not live in the lounge for the next 2 episodes, but coming back first Thursday in January. When is that? That will be the 7th. The 7th of January. We'll be back to Thursday night live, aussietechheads.com.au/live. All right, until then, Merry Christmas, everyone, and yeah, all the best. Ta-da.